This is part 3 of maintenance. We've got a 3.0 liter turbocharged Mercedes-Benz diesel engine, and it's just not something that we feel comfortable. There's 2 services, an A service and a B service. And I will tell you that we have found out last year, and I hate to say it, a little spoiler here, this year as well, that these are not the most economical way to go in the RVing community. So that should weigh in your decision. I have to get it done every 10,000 miles. And the newer ones, post 2015, that's every 20,000 miles. So that's a lot better. It's this costs you about the same either way, but the newer models are much better than the older models as far as the time that you have to do to get them. So anyway, here is the numbers. But you know, before I go into that, I just ran a little clip to tell you why my particular vehicle in any Winnebago Via, any Itasca Reyo, or any Class A that's got a little bitty hood for the mechanics to get in and out and do all their working, even when they can raise it and work from the bottom. Well, take a look. Okay, what you're looking at is our entry into our hood. Look how small it is. What I'm pointing to is where the fuel filter goes, and in order for you to really get to it, you have to take apart almost everything in the front. That white piece has to go. All of that air housing has to go. And it has to be raised. And this is why it is so expensive. Okay, this is why you see how we end up with $400 fuel filter changes. And I was reading through some of the comments on the Reyo, Itasca, and Winnebago Via blogs, and they're saying, hey, it's $400 well spent. The do-it-yourselfers just hate doing this because you have to crawl underneath, and then you got to have a long arm and reach above, and you're blind, and you have to take all this stuff off, put it back on, and they're saying it's just better to pay the money. So hey, I probably wouldn't even attempt to tackle it anyway. Okay, so here's the tail of the tape. A service, which is what we're having this time right now, that should be less than a B service. An A service is basically brake check, fuel filters, oil change, 13 quarts of oil, by the way. I also decided to take it to another company. I'm not going to say the name of the company because you're probably not in Las Vegas. And this is a good company, but I think that their pricing is a little stiff. And maybe that is because they're really not used to working on sprinters. And this is a big factor. Whether you live in Las Vegas or not, you may want to always consider a Sprinter dealer. And by the way, there aren't many in the whole United States. There's only a few dozen. And so if you got one in your area, as expensive as they are, they may be worth it. And here's why. Now on the A service, remember, should be about half of the B service because you're doing half the things. Although I will tell you in truth the fuel filter, as we've already hinted, is going to be the most expensive, and it does cost around $400. So if that has to be done every 10,000 miles, you got your oil change. So what are the numbers, Ray? Well, here's the tail of the tape. The total was $911.69. Whoa, whoa. Yeah, that will set your day back. Of that, as I mentioned, $400 was just on the fuel filter labor, and then another $145 for the fuel filter itself. That's $555.42. Now, this is actually $100 more than the Sprinter authorized Sprinter dealer. This is who we went to was an authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer, which we could go to. We had that choice. But the Sprinter dealer actually could do things cheaper. Doesn't make any sense, but my guess is it's the training, and their labor was so much more. The other problem is, as I said before, is you don't have any room to work on that. It's not open. We don't have an open bay. So the fact is it's just tougher on the mechanic, and that is borne out in their labor. The oil change ended up being actually much cheaper than the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter. The oil change was only, and I say that kind of like as a jest, was only $98.53 for the labor, and eight quarts of oil, which is what they normally do. But however, because we happen to have a different type of Sprinter, ours takes 13 quarts, so an additional $45. So the whole total on the oil change was $142.83. So those are the two big things. And then there were other things like the brake check. And the good news is the brakes are only half used. We got about, at this point, let's see, 27,289 miles. Brakes should be good for about 40,000 miles. So we're okay. If it's half, it's reading half, then that's fine by my books. So, and anyway, as I said, the final number was $911.69. That includes everything, those main three. Now, one conclusion I have is I'm not taking it to these guys again. They were really friendly, maybe the best customer service that I've ever seen, but their prices are sky high. And part of that, I believe, is that their mechanics are slow, and the reason that they're slow is because of they not familiar with working on Sprinters, and number two, our type of Sprinter, which makes it even worse, the Itasca Reyo Winnebago Via. So, yeah, am I going to bring it to these guys again? No, because the B service, which should be twice as much, cost me only $978 at the Sprinter dealer. And so I suspect that had I taken this to the Sprinter dealer and trying to save money, I would have gotten this done for quite a bit less. But anyway, here is the numbers for annual maintenance totals. We spent $1,425.51. 283.09 in part one, 230.73 on the roof in part two, and finally, of course, 911.69 on the engine. And that is what we did in maintenance, and that's what we've been looking for. And lastly, we did have repairs. And remember what I said, it's not unreasonable for you to think that you will have repairs during the year. And I'm hoping that this is the only repairs that I had. To recap from part two, its McPherson struts both had to be replaced, and the water pump was replaced, but there was only $135 that I had to pay out of that. And the fact is, you might have to pay more if you don't have an extended warranty.